Netflix's adaptation of The Witcher has been a big hit thanks to a winning combination of high fantasy action, Henry Cavill's jawline, and constantly being 75% of my Netflix dashboard when I'm just trying to watch RuPaul's Drag Race in peace. As such, it's been confirmed that there's a second season of The Witcher on the way. And while Season 1 manages to capture the spirit of the original novels the Witcher games are based on, we'd love to see some of the weirder elements of the world of The Witcher that currently exist only in those video games. And when we say weirder, we really mean it, as you'll find out in these 7 bizarre Witcher moments we're certain are never going to end up in the show. Enjoy, and beware spoilers ahead for the following games. I mean, it's The Witcher games, obviously. See? And not even all The Witcher games, it's just 2 and 3, so if you've not played The Witcher 1 yet, then you're in the clear, so good on you.
Witcher, I might have some work for you.
Did I hear you mention a job?
Indeed, one very much in your line.
It's a little-known fact about witchers that they have to do literally anything that anyone asks them, regardless of how weird the request or how few pairs of trousers are being worn by the person doing the asking. Or at least that's the only explanation I can think of for why Geralt agrees to the quest A Sack Full of Fluff, which involves collecting feathers and is given to him by a pantsless rando.
But no promises. I've got more important things to deal with.
Oh, I don't know. Collecting feathers? What kind of boring-ass video game would make someone collect a bunch of feathers? How'd that get in here? Regardless, Geralt takes the quest and it's off to find harpy feathers for this guy, who needs a whole bunch of them to sell to a collector of rare and hard-to-find monster parts, or so he says. His story keeps changing though, as does the number of feathers he says he needs. The pantslessness remains the same.
I need a few more feathers.
Who is it that needs them? You or this collector?
But he does, of course.
Pretty suspicious.
Still, the money's good, and killing harpies isn't too hard of a job for a professional monster killer like Geralt. And I mean, who cares what the guy needs the feathers for? It's not like he's using them for anything bad or weird.
Yes, you're beautiful, my queen, my lady. You're a wondrous sight. All in your nest envy you.
Hope I'm not interrupting. Pretty warm for this time of year.
It is colder usually, isn't it?
Oh, man. I really hope that's not what Ezio's mother was using them for in Assassin's Creed 2.
Graves, unmarked, laid out in rows like garden beds. Hey. Hear me?
A witcher's job description is pretty broad. Some days you'll be fighting a griffin for money. Other days you'll be tasked with retrieving a violet rose from a spooky house in a haunting rumination on death and loss and abandonment. Also for money.
Bring me that blue. Wouldn't mind reminding myself what it looks like.
That's the situation Geralt finds himself in when he arrives at the Von Everich estate, looking for the violet rose a Mr. Von Everich gave to his wife the last time he saw her, many years ago. And if you think a perishable rose still being around after many years is the weirdest thing about this story, then allow us to introduce you to the house's caretakers, who are a spooky talking cat and dog duo, only less adorable than that sounds.
Well, philosophers do still debate what it means to be alive, exactly.
Normally I'd be shocked, but not after what I just saw. Who are you two?
The cat and dog then proceed to give Geralt a tour of this house, which, we should mention, is haunted as hell, pointing out its many lovely features, such as the murderous caretaker.
We called him the caretaker.
Doesn't look like any creature I've ever seen.
Plus the woman you came to see, who has clearly been dead for many, many years.
Why didn't you tell me she was dead right away?
You didn't ask.
The tour also takes in the various suitable grave sites that exist throughout the grounds for you to bundle her corpse into.
This place seems suitable.
Yes, she loved to paint.
They then help you summon the woman's ghost, and you enter a painting to try and get this sodding rose, which we are 100% sure at this point is more trouble than it's worth. Still, at least now we're on a completely different plane of existence, we won't have to worry about that spooky cat and dog anymore.
How'd you two get in here?
We exist in both worlds at once.
God damn it.
Damn. I tore a hole in my dress. Wait a minute, I must mend it.
You know how to so.
Please. I'll enchant a needle.
Geralt might be a renowned monster hunter, but he's arguably even more notorious for his complicated love life. In between life or death battles with mythical creatures, white-haired Lothario Geralt is juggling a couple of potential bays over the course of the 3 games. In The Witcher 3, your main romantic interests are beautiful sorceress Triss Merigold,
He say where Dandelion is.
and beautiful sorceress Yennefer of Vengerberg.
Selene, Dufresne.
Yeah, he definitely has a type. This being a game for adults, pursuing these relationships will eventually result in some steamy, sexy times with lots of smooching and cuddling. Well, unless you politely refuse.
Yen, don't get mad, but
Stop. Suddenly I have an immense desire to drink.
Hey, maybe Geralt had a headache or something. Witchers get headaches, right? Romance Yennefer in The Witcher 3, and it transpires that she's into some pretty weird stuff. Specifically, doing it on the back of a unicorn. You know, the rare and mythical beast of legend which represents beauty and purity.
oh no.
But it's fine, the unicorn is dead and stuffed, which apparently makes all this better, somehow. There is nothing not weird about this scene, which has Geralt naked, straddling a dead unicorn, and Yennefer using sorcery to magic off her underwear.
Yen, let go of the mane.
I know you. I let go, you throw us off.
Brings a whole new meaning to horny on mane. Because unicorns have horns and manes. Yeah, I deserve that.
Behold, wars have started over uglier wenches. Well, raids have been undertaken at least.
True, she looks lovely. Let's go.
Dead Man's Party is a quest in the Witcher 3 expansion Hearts of Stone. In it, Geralt is tasked with showing someone the time of their life. The only problem is that someone, Vladimir von Everec, is dead.
They killed me, crushed my skull like an eggshell between an upturned oak table and the stone floor.
Not so dead that he can't have a terrible haircut and roast you endlessly to your face, of course.
And you've got a pike so far up your ass, you can't wear hats.
Just dead enough that he can't drink anything, or touch anything, least of all a tray of Jaeger bombs. More for me! Luckily for Vladimir, he has a solution to this problem in mind. Unluckily for Geralt, that solution is him possessing Geralt's body. And wouldn't you know it, in classic sitcom fashion, Geralt is supposed to go to a wedding later. Sidebar, not to victim blame, but if you do allow Geralt, the Witcher, into your wedding, then you kind of have to expect supernatural chaos. That's on you, bride and groom. Anyway, the supernatural chaos turns out even worse than expected because Vladimir is an absolute mad lad whose idea of a good night involves insulting said bride and groom.
You had your pick of gents, I'm sure.
Where is this going?
I'm attempting to discern why she chose you, Jonas.
Roughing up the other wedding guests.
It's the perfect weapon for sweaty-assed swineherds.
Trying to get off with anything in a wimple.
Did it hurt terribly, my sweet?
What?
When you fell from the heavens.
And of course, getting absolutely hammered.
I never say no to a lady, to your fair beauty, and to yours, Shami, naturally.
All I'm saying is that with the number of people he pissed off, if Vladimir wasn't already a ghost, he would have been made into one by the end of the night.
Perhaps you'd care to sit down to some Gwent with us.
Most certainly would. You needn't ask twice, midget.
No need for insults.
A foulness, a demon or wraith haunts me, grants me no rest. It wants something. I sense this, but know not what. Each day it appears, tarries, then leaves. It's here now, there, beyond the trees.
Don't see a thing.
Although in the Netflix series Geralt talks to his horse Roach, as yet Roach has never talked back. And based on what happens when she does in the game, we can't see it being added to the series anytime soon. It all starts with you investigating an apparition that has been bothering a hermit lady. The problem is only her and people out of their tree on drugs are able to see it. So this woman knocks together a potion made from a bunch of mushrooms she found in the forest, and Geralt agrees to drink it, even though as he correctly identifies, it is a terrible idea.
This mushroom, even in me, could produce some nasty, unpredictable side effects.
Folks, don't try this at home. For real. It's not without side effects either. Under the influence of this concoction, Geralt discovers that he can chat to animals, including his trusty steed, Roach. Perhaps most jarringly, Roach doesn't sound like anyone else you'll meet in the game, in that she has a sort of Bill and Ted 1980s Southern California beach bum voice.
Your voice. It's, interesting. Gotta say, I expected a young mare to sound, girlish.
Based on what? Your vast experience with talking animals? As far as I know, I'm your first.
Good point.
Geralt, you were just outwitted by your own horse. Oh well, at least you can't brag about it to anyone else. Except other horses. In one of the funniest, best-written quests in the Blood and Wine expansion, Roach becomes your chatty partner, turning the game into the Witcher and horse buddy cop drama you never knew you needed in your life.
Geralt, look! This here's definitely a clue!
You follow the trail, enjoying some insight into the psyche of your previously mute horse, until at last you find the culprit, a horse murderer. That's a person who murdered a horse, rather than a horse that is also a murderer. Worth clearing up. Sadly for fans of human and horse banter, after the quest is resolved, the potion begins to wear off, and Geralt claims it would be lethal if he kept taking it. So the Geralt and Roach show ends up cancelled after a single mission.
I got so much more I want to tell you,
Oh, and hey, I guess it's a good job Yennefer's unicorn is dead. Imagine the things it would have to say.
If I start muttering something about unicorns or sorceresses, ignore it. What's this about?
Oh, Lapiota, give me strength. I can't bear this, please! I believe I've been clear. No presentation today. Oh, wait! Are you not that famous Witcher, Geralt of Rivia? I believe I have work for you.
If there's one thing we'd love to see in the Witcher Netflix series, it's more iconic moments from the video games, such as Geralt spending an entire episode just playing Gwent, or needing a good 45 minutes to decide on the perfect beard and haircut combo. Oh yeah, that's the one. No, wait. One such moment we're pretty confident won't be included in the upcoming second series, however, is the quest Goodness Gracious Great Balls of Granite, in which Geralt has to help an art curator retrieve a stolen part of a statue. What part? My friends, this is The Witcher. Do you really need to ask?
How should I put this? It's lost its jewels.
The statue is of Reginald Dorbury, a legendary lover, and it's claimed that unrivaled virility is granted to anyone who strokes the statue's testicles, which were apparently painstakingly modelled from their real-life counterpart.
The sole monument made using a cast of the great Reginald's own genitals, certified and authenticated.
I don't know, Geralt, isn't there like a coven of witches you could be fighting or something? No? Okay, this is the quest then, I guess. Anyway, using his fabled supernatural Witcher senses, Geralt is able to trace the missing stones to a nearby house, somehow.
Scent leads to this door.
Here he discovers they're being used by an elderly gent to conduct an extramarital affair with a woman who... I'm sorry, what about, like, fighting a werewolf or something? You know, actual monster hunting? No? Alright, you're the Witcher. At least once we get these statue genitals back where they belong, we'll get a reward, something useful that'll help us in our actual serious important Witcher quests.
You shall stroke Reginald at no charge on the house.
Actually, I take it back. I can't wait to see Henry Cavill have to film this entire thing.
Master Witcher, what luck to happen upon you.
Got work for me? New contract?
When it comes to The Witcher, everyone always focuses on the exciting stuff. The, witching, I guess you'd call it. But no one ever considers the admin overhead of being a freelance professional like Geralt.
Sadly, you went on your way before I could settle matters with you. So, I took your coin and placed it in an account for safekeeping.
Everyone loves to sing toss a coin to your Witcher, but does anyone ever think about what happens to all those coins? No, because it's boring. Which is why we can't imagine Netflix will be in a hurry to adapt the paper chase quest from Witcher 3 Blood and Wine, in which Geralt attempts to withdraw some funds from a savings account set up for him by a grateful vineyard owner who he helped in the past. Unfortunately, ATMs haven't been invented yet, so Geralt's going to have to actually go into the bank and talk to people, and at first, things seem to be going well.
Got an account here. Like to make a withdrawal.
Naturally. Your name?
Geralt of Rivia.
Wait a moment, please, while I find the relevant record.
I don't know why, but I've got a really good feeling about this.
There's a note in the records. The account holder is dead.
I mean, to be fair, Geralt, you do look awfully pale. The rest of the quest is purposefully one of the most tedious missions in gaming, as you shuttle between different bank tellers, play games of Gwent, and flirt with the staff in an attempt to hurry up the process.
Got you some flowers, just to thank you for helping me with my file.
Oh, but I shouldn't. For me? Really?
Match the color of your eyes.
Mate, the flowers are white. They match the colour of everyone's eyes. Eventually, you use your supernatural Witcher powers of just sort of hanging around in a bank and finally catch up with the bank manager, the man who can ultimately straighten this whole thing out and get you your hard-earned money. He just has one condition.
Ah, and Master Witcher, one more thing. Dinna come back to my bank ever again. Can do without patrons like you.
Yeah, no danger of that. I'm going back to hiding it all under my mattress.
Don't judge me.
There you go, those were 7 bizarre Witcher moments that we're confident will never end up in the Netflix series. Unless they do, in which case, this was a predictions piece, and we got it right, so kudos to us. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more videos from us, then why not check out our weekly show of the Week. It's a good name, isn't it? And in that, we talk about what videos we put out this week, we read your comments, it's a lot of fun, and for a similar show from Outside Extra, down here we have Show of the Weekend, which is loads of fun, full of arts and crafts projects and quizzes and all kinds of cool stuff. So check out both of those shows, and we'll see you next time.